Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Manchester United Agenda. Tonight we preview the FA Cup final and exclusively preview the FA Cup final. I cannot be bothered, to be honest, with the managerial stuff that's going on. We can deal with that tomorrow. Tonight is about the highlight of the season, the centerpiece of English football, and one of my favourite competitions, the FA Cup. Let's start off with you, Dora. First of all, how are you? What adventures have you gotten yourself into today?
Well, I'm feeling great. Thank you for asking. I was with my friends today, having a cup of coffee. The usual. We went through the gossip reel. We were gossiping. We were hanging out. It was
What
great.
do you gossip about?
Oh, other people.
Nice.
I mean, that's a natural reaction, right?
Have you
And
got an enemy?
sorry, can you
Have
repeat?
you got an enemy? Like, is there like a sort of nemesis, an anti-Dora that you take pleasure in his or her downfall? I can tell from the smile that you do.
Not necessarily. I don't think they know. Maybe I'm just, a hater. But don't mind me. It's the usual, girl, chatter. But yeah, I had a great time, and it was a good day overall. It was raining once again all day, but there weren't any thunderstorms this time. So yeah, we survived last night. We survived.
Good to hear. And Amonde, you muted yourself, but how are you?
I'm not too bad. A bit out of breath, getting old. I've got one flight of stairs to get up. I had to bring a big chair up just now. And I just walked the dogs coming in from work until they're barking and overexcited. And I'm excited too. I'm a bit overexcited about the prospects of beating Man City this Saturday. That's what we're here for, guys. I'm really excited about that. And other great news as well. I met Draymond Green today.
Okay.
You've met a basketball guy.
Yes, and I posted it on social media, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" Me and him.
Who is it?
Sorry,
Demon Green.
Draymond Green. Tell him, Dora, who Draymond Green is, please.
Draymond Green is a player of Golden State Warriors. With them, he won, I think, 4 rings or 3 rings. 4 rings, right?
Yeah.
So he had one before. He had one in 2015 with KD 2 times, and two seasons ago in 2020.
So while you're discussing this quickly, I'm just going to post up the picture and bring it on the screen so you guys can see the lovely picture.
But this is proper sort of like international superstar, then.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but he is a character. He's a character, I would say. But yeah, he's a great defensive player. How did you meet him? He's.
Let me get the picture up, and I'll tell you all about it. And I'll tell you the story about it very soon.
All right, let's do some hellos whilst you're sending me that. First off, we got Stephanie Griffiths, as always, commenting 2 hours early. It said the Indy 500 trophy, which is in reference to my awesome thumbnail, which obviously now is a bit rubbish. We got Lucky Singh, hello sir, and he's saying Ten Hag in, and we got DK Wilson all the way from the Golden State himself, bigging everyone up
from Oakland, from San Francisco, right?
Yeah,
Bay Area, I think. I'm not sure.
What are you doing? Why are you saying Bay Area like that? The Bay Area.
Because people from that place, they're saying Bay Area. I mean, DK will tell you. He knows. Yeah,
aren't they also like tech people in California? Sorry, in San Francisco.
I think so. I'm not sure. The whole Silicon Valley thing, right?
Yeah.
Are you talking about that? I'm not sure.
All right. Well, Chatsport is saying good evening to everyone, and so is Bill Baggio. We've got Simon Warner in the house, and he said that he's had a fine day. How about you guys? And we've all had a lovely day, haven't we, lads?
Yeah, most certainly. A great day today. Let me just get this image up of me and Draymond Green. Is everyone excited about this?
Yes, I'm really excited.
Do you know how to do it?
Yeah. Do you want the backstory?
Go on then. Tell us.
So where I was working today, we got some volunteers to do some painting today. Like 5 volunteers to paint our offices, all for free, And what do you know? Draymond Green turns up, and I'm watching him. Saying, "Oh my gosh, Draymond Green!" But I went up to him and said, bruv, you look just like Draymond Green. It's not Draymond Green. And he said, who's that? I said, what? No one's ever told you look just like Draymond Green. He said, no. So I showed him the picture, and he was looking at the picture, and I gave the Michael Jackson voice, said, make that change, look at the man in the mirror. It's exactly like him. Do you want to see, guys?
Yes.
You want to see?
Please.
And I've even put an image of Draymond Green next to it just to show this young man is the spit. Imagine this.
Oh, so it's not Draymond Green.
It's not
No.
Draymond. Imagine
He's
this.
yeah.
I put it up on social media and people said, oh my God, how did you meet him? They're saying, you must be 7'3" then, if he's, because I was towering over this guy, Here we go. Ready for this? Draymond Green.
Yes.
Doesn't he look like Draymond Green? Look properly.
He does a bit. Like especially the younger version. I think you know, obviously that guy is young, right? But yeah, there is some resemblance. But yeah, you confused me because I was like, he's a pundit right now. He's commentating on the playoffs. How is he in England?
Well, he's eating our doors today, so he's multitasking. Anyway, enough about
Monday.
Sorry, can I just answer Andrew Williams? He's saying I'm racist. One of my other friends said that to me as well. Just because he's black, you think all black people look the same or something like that. No, he looks like Draymond Green. It's got nothing to do with it.
Well, we are well known as being an extremely racist channel, according to some ex-mods.
Oh my God.
I'm not oppressing anybody, guys. So I don't have the power to oppress any of you out there. So Andrew, shut up.
Yeah, Andrew. Well, we got Chat Sport with finally back to football. Saying the FA Cup is the greatest football cup in football. If there's any cup a club should aim for, it's this. I love the FA Cup. I mean, I've played in it once. I did, in August of all places, and it's one of the reasons I hate VAR so much is that FA Cup that we watch on Saturday. It's like the Open in tennis or in golf. Anyone can get to it. The rules are the same from the bottom of the pyramid to the top of the pyramid, and it's absolutely beautiful. And it's the real people's. It's just such a wonderful competition. I'm so pleased that we're in it. And we've got Simon. The best news I've heard is that Maguire is not playing. That brought a huge smile, as it could be a jinx in defence. God, we started already, haven't we? And then we've got Andrew saying, "Evening, my lovelies." Did you get the storm today, Andrew? It was a bit wild in Wales this morning. Yep, DK Wilson is saying the Bay Area. And who's this cheeky little boy? It's Big G saying oi oi Savaloy. Now, Gavin, I've got a bone to pick with you because you were making fun of my calculations the other day about how much money Manchester United have to spend. And it's come out that it is about 35 to 40 million when you take away any sort of fund for sacking the football manager. So suck it.
Woo!
I would say that the Champions League is bigger than the FA Cup. Yeah, the Champions League is, but it doesn't have the same romance as the FA Cup. For me, anyway. Amonde isn't racist, but some of his best friends are racist, is what Tyrone said.
And one of my best friends is Tyrone. So,
yeah,
he is a racist.
Yeah. I always love starting a show with talking about who and who isn't racist. Bill G, the only thing that he wants segregated is VAR out of football. And also, yes, very important, this weekend it's a bank holiday. So if these boys do us proud, I am going to be drunk for at least 3 days, which I'm really looking forward to. I believe I deserve it. All right. So we got a show tonight where we're going to do some sort of tactical stuff. I'm going to give you some opinions and things. We've got the return of the Solo 11, but I really enjoyed the show last night where everyone was interacting. So we're going to try and keep it more like that. And also thank you so much to everyone who actually went and put a comment in after the show. I can't believe my horrible monsters did that for us. We were genuinely touched by that, but not physically. All right, let's start off with the player awards. So look, Bruno got player of the year. Delo got the players player of the season. Garnacho goal of the season. Bit surprised Bruno got player of the year, to be honest, but that's an online vote, I believe. Any comments there?
They all speak Portuguese, don't they?
No. Garnacho is Spanish and Argentine.
Oh, God, yeah. Why am I thinking that? Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. So the players is what the players would pick. They would say they'd be asked who's their best favourite player this season. And, yeah, so respect to Dalot. He did deserve something. And Bruno, I think that's fair. I did miss out on him yesterday when we were discussing it. But I think Dora or someone in the comments mentioned him, and I realised, actually, he is probably the best player this season.
Yeah, Dora, anything to add?
I mean, it's an online vote. I don't think this was a very good season from Bruno when it comes to his performances, game by game on eye test, the way we defended, and I think he was also culpable for a lot of things. But in the last month or so, he kind of came out. He started playing much better, but I think it's because of his, he has a lot of love, from fan base. I am one of them as well. And yeah, he has the, most goals and most assists, most goal contributions. And yeah, it is what it is, right? I personally wouldn't, vote for him. But I'm glad that players recognize the work that Dalot put in. I think that's, to me, I think when your peers and your teammates recognize your, your hard work and, your development and, getting better, I think that's even more sweeter. And Garnacho goal of the season, I mean, he will probably get that Puskás award.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
have you won an award, Dora, from your peers?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Maybe when I was younger. I honestly, I can't remember, but probably not. Probably not.
Well, we'll give you an award at the end of the season. But it's the end of the season. Have an award. Amondo, you must have got a Players Player of the Year or something like that.
Yeah, I used to have, when I was a kid, I was a bit of a wonder kid, and I used to have trophies. Honestly, trophies galore. I'd win everything through the season, and then when it's five-a-side season in the summer, I'd come back with even more trophies. So I used to get loads. But individual awards, I've won Player of the Year a couple of times. I've won Most Improved Player when I was 10 years old, because I first
what
time.
about as an adult?
As an adult, I got an award last year. They gave me some laundry detergent because I'm washing the kit all the time. So they gave me an award for washing the kit. So that's the most recent award I've got. I've got Player of the Year. We won a league, the Sunday League, a couple of years. No, but it's about 10, 15 years ago. And I was captain and instrumental in winning the league. So I got Player of the Year that year. And I was kind of proud of that because I carried. It's like one of my friends, Beefy, who's been on the channel before. It's like me and him won it together, and it's nice to do that with a school friend in a team. BP, struggling. I used to look after him at the back. He's playing right back, and he's delighted with that. And now his son is playing like he just bought a sign for QPR. It's magnificent. So yeah, that I'm really proud of that league title that we won that year. What about you? Personal awards, achievements?
Yeah, I have a lot of Player of the Year awards.
Do you keep
mainly,
them? Do you still have the trophies?
Yes, I have my own. Like how girls have like a walk-in wardrobe. I have a walk-in trophy room.
Oh God, we should do a cribs. Edition. Bath time. Yeah. This is the walk-in trophy room.
Yeah, no, I'm very proud of my achievements in football, and I think, but the important thing when sort of talking about the United one is that the Players Player of the Year award is always the one that you want. Because it's your teammates, the guys that you've been in the trenches with and things like that. And so Bruno getting Player of the Year from an online vote, it won't mean as much like as Players Player of the Year because they're the guys you're in the trenches with. And we're also in the trenches with the people in the comments. And we've got Matty Bassett who's turned up to say that I'm a lightweight because I only drink for 3 days, which is very true. We've got Ed Mayhem saying, I didn't realise you were live tonight. I checked an hour ago. Big up my guys and Dora. I think I scheduled this show at about 10 o'clock in the morning. So I really like the thumbnail that I made. And we've also got Mighty Mo So who should have won Player of the Year? We did it last night, and it was pretty unanimous for Delo. And once again, Bill Baggio, one of our mods and part of the Agenda family, having a rough time with his doggy. So commiserations, my friend. Chatsport is saying he wants Bruno's Player of the Year. Delo, Mainu, Garnacho with the top 3 for Andrew, with mentions for Scott and Harry. And look who it is, late again, Stephanie. But she's bigging us all up. And Andrew is popping in that he won Employee of the Month for the South Wales region when he worked for Lloyds Bank in 2001.
Okay.
Good. Big G, I know that you weren't here at the start because you're a latecomer as well. Today is just about the FA Cup final. All this stuff, we'll deal with it tomorrow, but I want this to be about the centrepiece of the season and a bit more sort of positivity. And Simon is giving Martial Absentee of the Year award. I think that Malacia would run him ragged for that.
That guy doesn't exist. I don't know who would you give it to. That guy doesn't exist.
But imagine you announce the award, and he obviously wouldn't turn up for that. He'd have to do it by like over the mobile phone or something, or find him in a cave somewhere wherever he is. I don't know.
Although I'm pleased that you brought people have brought up Martial. Right, let's get into it. So the FA Cup is at 3 p.m. on Saturday at Wembley Stadium. Dora, where will you be watching it?
From home.
Amonde, you're whining and dining some of our viewers, aren't you?
As soon as it depends if they want to, more than welcome. But as soon as the game's over, I'm out of here. I've got to go out. So I'll be watching the game and then I'm chipping.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the game with my family as well. So unfortunately, I don't think that we're going to have a reaction show that day. But we'll work out something for you guys. If we win, I'll do an eye test, and it'll be brilliant. Good. But we'll see how that goes. All right, so that's the time, everyone. All right, injury news. Harry Maguire is out. Mason Mount is out. Kel Surprise, Malacia is out. But Shaw, Martinez, Varane, Martial as well are all in contention. And obviously Ederson is the only real doubt for Manchester City, and it's unlikely he would have played anyway. Let's start off with you, Dora. Are there any sort of big pluses here, big misses?
I think when Ten Hag explained the absentees, I think for sure he said that, yes, Martinez and Varane and, Martial and the other guys are going to be in contention for that game on Saturday. But Shaw's chances are slimmer than theirs. So I don't believe that he's going to start, I would take that spot and put another player. I would use it for another player because I don't think Shaw is going to contribute that much for that game. In my opinion, like if he's still injured, if he's still, not 100% back, why would you? Even risk it, especially before Euros, because apparently he's going to be fit for Euros. I'm gutted for Maguire. I think.
Wow.
He had That's rich coming from me. Coming from me because I have the biggest Harry Maguire agenda. However, as I always, I'd like to think that I am, sincere, and this season he showcased a great character. He had some good performances for United. He was really solid at the back when we. Missed a lot of players in that back line, and he played through the injury as well. The same as Bruno Fernandes and some other guys. So kudos to him. He could have sit on the bench or outside, in the stadium in row Z and watch the games, but he chose to play, and I respected massively. Mount again out, not surprised. Malacia not surprised. If Martinez featured in the last few games, Varane as well, we will talk about it later, but I would, consider them heavily for the game. And I think Ederson is 100% out. Ortega is going to, how do you say it, be a sub for him. I think City are in amazing shape, right? They had their break as well. It will be really tough on Saturday, but as a United fan, I believe, and yeah.
All right. Well, just before we get to you, Amondo, and your thoughts, I want to go through the comments, and I want to start off with this disgrace. I have a chocolate eclair addiction. That's why I am late. You need to master yourself, Stephanie, and not let chocolate eclairs master you. They are delicious, though. And they're quite posh as well. I'm very partial to a chocolate eclair. Right. Eclair, yeah. We're also getting some nice comments about where people are going to watch the game. So every year since '95, Andrew has watched the FA Cup in a pub in Swansea. This won't be the case as his best friend Craig is in hospital with pancreatitis. So are you going to are you just going to visit him, Andrew, or are you not going out of respect to the pub? But we've got Tyrone, who's saying he's really looking forward to watching the FA Cup. I think Man United can win, but Varane must start. We'll get into that a little bit later. Simon's going to be watching it at home, but it depends on how we play in the first half. If we have a crap first half, then I won't bother with the second. Come on, you've got to believe. And look at this, 15 likes. Wow, and 23 people watching. Thank you so much. Ed is going to be going to his local for the final, as there'll be a band in the pub garden. I genuinely couldn't think of anything worse. I hate live music at football matches. I'd make them all eat their trumpets and drums and things. Sharp. And look at this. Big G, who's one of Maguire's biggest fans, is saying he's been our best defender this season. And Tyrone is saying he hasn't been too bad. He's never let the team down when we needed him. And look who it is. It's Montreal, who is saying that Haaland isn't very good. And Steph is watching in a local pub, which is full of ABUs and one City fan. And ABU is anything but United. All right. Amondo, talk to me about these injuries.
I'm really surprised that the guys coming back in contention are around. Sure, yeah, it's good timing, isn't it, for him to come back, because we haven't had a left-footed fullback, and I think he's been a big miss, to be honest. I know there's some jokes running in the comments and people saying, they've given up on him, but he's still a very good player, in my opinion. He gives us balance as well. You need that left-footed guy, especially a left back, and if he can get a start, I think that'd be a big boost for us. These are all defenders. You see what I'm saying? So Martinez, Varane, we've been struggling to get by. Obviously, with Maguire out, that's a big loss, in my opinion. But with Martinez and Varane in contention, he could join Johnny Evans or Casemiro. I doubt it, though. He could join Johnny Evans, one of these two. I don't think both of them will start. I think one of these two, maybe Varane, could join Johnny Evans in the back four and put Delo in and drop Wan-Bissaka. And I like that already. I'm thinking, okay, this seems a bit promising. And then you're talking about Mason Mount. It doesn't bother me because he hasn't really been in contention really much of the season. And Malacia, I mean, that one's just a stinker anyway. Why are we even talking about that guy?
Good evening to Hydro. Good evening to Subvids. And Montreal is surprisingly watching the game in Montreal at one of the most popular pubs. All right. What have I got next? It's not looking good, boys. I look at the odds today, and everyone thinks that we're on for a bit of a shinning. I don't feel that's the case, though, Dora.
I don't think we'll get battered. For once, I'm going to be a bit positive. I don't think that we are going to get battered. I believe that last few games showcase that we can be a bit better defensively. I mean, it's a small, it's not a big, it's not a big, pattern or size to judge, for 100%, but obviously something changed in the last 3 games, so maybe that will stop City from bulldozing over us in the throughout the whole game. I believe that the players are going to be motivated, and I think whenever United were motivated this season, we showed that we saw that against Liverpool they can play if they want. Now, of course, tactics are a big, part of it.
That's next.
I believe, yeah, we will talk about it further. But I believe that something changed, and I think we won't get battered. But I mean, I'm not faulting the betting odds here. I mean, we are awful, right? I mean, this season is disastrous, and yeah, these bets are kind of
All right.
expected.
Well, Matty is asking if there's a watch along for the game this Saturday. I'm afraid that there isn't. We've really stretched at the moment on the Man United agenda. We've got our own injury crisis, and everyone thank Dora for stepping up. The Johnny Evans of the channel. Weren't expecting a lot from her this season, but she's turned out to be the pundit of the season. So there's your award, Dora.
Thank you.
Monday, these odds to me look ridiculous. I can't imagine United at 7-1 in any game ever.
I'm really surprised by the odds.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, you want to get good money, good value odds? I'm going to do my John McGoldrick, isn't it? John McGoldrick. Yeah, John McGoldrick.
Is that the horse racing man that dresses like Indiana Jones?
You do all that, 4-1, 5-1. So if you get 5-1 on the draw, that's good value money. If you want to put a good £10 bet on, you get £50 back, 5-1 on the draw. Man United to take it to extra time, that's good money. 7-1 for Man United to win in 90 minutes. That's a big ask, but I wouldn't think it was 7-1. I would have said it was 4-1 before I saw the odds.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised by that. City, obviously, they're favourites. They just won the league. Can they do the double? I don't know how many times they've done the double under Pep, but they're on course to do the double. Can we stop them like we stopped Everton in 1985 with Norman Whiteside when the odds were against us then? It's similar. A lot of parallels between that game. Everton had won the league. They'd won in Europe as well. Their team was flying. They had great. I mean, if you look around the team, Kevin Sheedy, Graham Sharp, Peter Reid, great team. They just won the league and they were on course to win the double. And we had 10 men and we still stopped them and took them to extra time. So I think 5-1, good odds. If you got anyone out there who's putting a bet on, put £10 on 5-1, get £50 back, and we take them to extra time and see what happens then.
What were the Everton odds when was it Paul Rideout that scored against us?
That's right.
Like 95?
95, yeah, 95.
Yeah.
Because we were top, we were flying. No one saw that coming, did they? But that just shows you how big the cup is. Everyone gets up for the game, no matter if you're carrying a knock or whatever. So these guys, you talk about Martinez, Varane, and Luke Shaw, especially. This is a big game. They want to sort of show and prove, and really represent. This is like it could be. There's a lot of players turning up. It's gone dark. The lights have gone on me. I've turned my lights on. Yeah. So there's a lot of players in this squad. This could be their last game for the club. We already know Martial, he's gone. Varane, if he starts, this is the last game for the club. Go out there, represent, show and prove, and make yourself a legend. This is what it's all about. So come on, guys, put it in.
Steph, is this true? I've got a feeling that you're playing silly buggers, and this silly bugger has fallen for it. That can't be true. That it's 1,000-1 for a clean sheet. All right, now we're going to do a little bit of tactics now. Don't worry, it's not going to be that difficult, and hopefully not that boring. But I have found who I think the key man to the entire game is. And this is obviously everyone's favourite, good boy, wonderful husband, Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker plays at right back or right-sided centre-back. And I have looked at the combinations of how both teams get the ball into the penalty box. Mm-hmm. The most common combination this season has been Bruno to Garnacho. Garnacho obviously playing on the left side, which is Walker's side. And City's most used combination is Rodri to Walker to get it into the box. Amonde, am I putting too much on Kyle Walker, or is this the guy that really will sort of decide the final?
This is a guy, I must say, who's been around City for a long time. You have to give credit to him. Is he the best English right back in the Premier League? Is he better than Gary Neville? One thing he hasn't lost is his pace. And you're talking about, this is something I'm a bit surprised about. So City's most used combination getting in the box is him with Rodri. Now, most people just think, he's a fast runner. But clearly he's got something about him in the final third, where it's the pace. He can control the ball, give it and go. He's obviously a threat. So that's something we need to really look at. But in the defensive side of things, talk about Man United with our combinations and be on his side again. I can see why you think it's going to be a key man. I will say this, though. I've seen him up against Rashford. I've seen him up against the best players, Vinny Jr., Mbappe, all the best players out there. He physically is strong enough. He's obviously quick enough as well. And it's a bit. I remember we played City early in the season. I felt that Rashford was a bit intimidated, thinking I can't
Yes.
get away from this guy. If I'm running away, I sense he's going to hunt me down and it's going to look bad. And I felt that he was he got in his head just by his pace alone. So Kyle Walker's still a top quality player. I don't know what you guys think, but I actually, even though I don't think he's technically the best player, and he's got not the best cross, he's very effective, and he's probably one of the best right backs the Premiership has seen, unless there's someone I'm not thinking about. But fair play to him, he's a key player for sure, based on what the combinations you've mentioned there.
And just to follow up, Amonde, I agree with you because we did the eye test on the City game, and I mean the players were all terrified of Walker. It was like he had a force field. But I think if you were to speak to Kyle Walker, I think Rashford is probably the player that's given him the most problems over the years. Rashford scores a lot against City. And they'll have faced each other in England training and so on. I think if you ask someone, I mean, has Kyle Walker ever been done by anyone?
Vinny Jr.
Consistently. Like, when did Vinny Jr. do him?
I think he nutsed him one time in the halfway line, but he tried to keep it up. Yeah, I think Dembele got away from him when France played England at Wembley a few years ago. But this is really, I mean, we're talking like minute details. Someone, when's he ever been beat? Oh, yeah, let's go back a few years when the best player, the best, fastest winger in the world actually got a better of him over one move in 90 minutes. I mean, come on. We're sort of clutching at straws here. He's a quality right back. He doesn't get beat very often.
All right. Just before we get to you, Dora, I want to see what the comments are saying. Tyrone is front running the solo 11, saying he'd be surprised if Rashford doesn't start. Simon says Rodri is going to be a handful. And Tyrone comes back and says Kyle Walker can read the game quite well, Mr. Consistent. I don't know how good a defender Kyle Walker is in terms of in his head, but he genuinely has like Olympic level pace and strength. And it doesn't, that floor that he has is always world class. He has world class athletic attributes. And that is just such a problem for us if we rely on transitions. Andrew is saying Walker is class. He wants Chat Sports going for 3-5-2 formation with Rashford and Rasmus up front. Apparently Walker was done by Sterling and Dembele did him. This idiot is saying that Trent is clear of Walker. I'm not so sure about that, but they can compare trophy cabinets. James is saying that he is the best, and Bart is saying Salah bullied Walker. Is that true?
I don't recall, but
I don't recall that either. And Vinny Jr. embarrassed Kimmich too, and not many players have done that to him. Vinny can do that to anyone. I think that's true. But overall, I think over the course of 90 minutes, it's very difficult to get the best to better Kyle Walker. And I genuinely think Rashford's the only player that's sort of consistently given him problems. But Dora, what do you think? Like, are we over-egging the pudding with Kyle Walker here?
I mean, he is a physical, monster. I mean, we, joked about him having, enhancers or whatever, special enhancers, because, you see him against Real Madrid sprinting in the 90th minute, which was insane. He does it a lot. He has, he's in a great physical shape. However, one thing that probably that's why people don't want to put him above, for example, someone like Ashley Cole, is that he sometimes has a mistake with him. Now, I cannot say that I watched tons of City games, but there were instances where sometimes he has a brain fart. He doesn't communicate with his goalkeeper that well, or with his or he just simply forgets his man. He doesn't mark very well, that is his weakness, I would say. You rarely you have a player that is 100% concentrated every single game, but I think he does it. He does it a bit too much. I don't know for this season, probably not, but even games for England, and for club games as well. He has that in him. Apart from that, I believe that he is very intelligent. He understands what Pep wants from him, and he, as I said, is a physical monster. He can run up and down the pitch all day, all night. 24/7. And I agree with your point that time is that Rashford did put him on skates a few times in his career since his debut. If Rashford, finally gets a kick up his ass after not being called up by Southgate, which is despite having him having a poor season, a shocking decision. If the shocked English fan base can be proof of that. I think Rashford on his best day is a great problem, an insane problem for someone like Kyle Walker, and it will be interesting to see that matchup. Last season, unfortunately, when we were in the cup final against City, he was not good. Rashford, he had a stinker. He had an awful game. Hopefully, this is going to be his revenge game. Like Lady Diana, revenge dress. I hope that
What a reference!
I believe that Rashford is going to come in and say, "This is my revenge game for for everything that happened this season, and for that FA Cup final last season." So I hopefully we get a fired up Rashford.
All right. Well, I'm just going to look at the comments, but when I come back, I'm going to ask about the other part of Walker's game, which is as a weapon to get into the box, he's going to need someone to look after him, someone who can match that running pace, not allow him to get free all the time. And I want you to think about who, like Rashford might be able to do him one way, but City are going to have more of the ball, we suspect. So maybe we're going to have a plan to combat him the other way. But first off, we got Bill Badger saying Walker's nearly as good as Phil Neville. We got 21 likes, so thank you everyone who's watching. It's really appreciated. Combine Walker with Trent's free kick and passing, and you have the perfect right back. I still think that you need to pop a brain into those two players. Like there was a Chelsea fullback, Branislav something or other. Do you remember?
Branislav Ivanovic.
Yes, I always liked him as defender. I like Cesar Azpilicueta as a defender as well. Like Amondo?
I was going to say Dan Romanian Dan Petrescu. Dan Petrescu. He was brilliant. I thought.
Yeah. Petrescu.
How do you pronounce?
It's Petrescu. I always like that.
I thought he was a top player.
Little Romanian.
I always felt, wow, this guy's got ability going forward, good touch, technique. And playing with Hadji as well. They used to pop it around, didn't they, that Romanian team. But he was class. I thought he was one of the best right backs, top 10 right back in the Premier League all time.
Wow, okay.
Really, honestly, he was that good.
And then Steph has brought up Dani Alves, who is one of my favourite footballers of all time. I just saw him play 6 or 7 times. And to be honest, like you went going to watch Messi and Iniesta, but you couldn't take your eyes off Dani Alves. He was an absolutely incredible player. And Big GSM put it this way: he wishes Walker was in a United shirt. And we got Draugen. Nice detective work. About time. Walker, Rodri is key. Who to play left wing? Rashford and 1-0 at half time. Who to kick Rodri? These are all questions we're going to try and address. And Simon is talking about Bruno Højlund and Geracha, really the only people that we're going to expect goals from. I'd love Varane or someone to get. I'd love a set piece, to be honest. Wouldn't it be great, Martinez, little diving header around everyone's ankles? We got Eddie's football waffle coming in to say hello, and look, Hydro's getting hungry. Keep saying Walker's now. He fancies a bag of cheese and onion. And look at this. You're getting some. Like Tyrone agrees with you about Dan Petrescu. And Montreal likes Dani Alves as well.
Where's Dani Alves right now?
In jail.
Sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I also think that justice should be done regardless of who you are.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying the downfall. I mean, that's really bad. Yeah, he should be sitting on the beach in Brazil right now, but he's messed up.
Yeah, I mean, Robinho, Ronaldinho, Adriano. I think they've all done
Oh my
stints in jail.
I mean, you can make an amazing starting 11 with, players in prison. Like, oh
even
my
me,
God.
I was in Mean Machine, the film Mean Machine. Anyway,
Oh, do you know about this, Dora? With Vinnie Jones?
No. Oh,
I'm
yeah,
on-
you told it. Yeah.
Let's move on, let's
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
Yeah. All right. So just before we move on, has the fact that Kyle Walker, because he's such a key part of City's attack, where they will strangle you in the center of that pitch, and then Rodri will pop the ball over the top to Walker, arriving like on the far right. I mean, how do we deal with him in attack?
You don't stop it. I don't think you stop it. You got to remain compact. He's the guy when they popping it around. As long as we're compact, he's the guy who'll be outlet, and to get that space to get the ball in. That's when he gets that ball wide. We don't go out to him. Just let him cross the ball, let him cut it back, and just deal with it. That's the only way you can. You can't afford to sort of think about Walker too much. I'll tell you why. I think he lacks the quality. It's all right him getting the ball, getting in good positions, but I don't think he's got the quality to provide the key pass. If that's De Bruyne or Phil Foden getting in areas like that, then you got a problem. But I just think you have to allow something. You have to give something rather than leave your space or your block and go out there to try to get close to Walker. That's going to give him an opportunity to provide a pass.
I
wouldn't do that.
I have a horrible image in my head, though, of Rodri spraying the ball out to Walker, Walker coming into the box, laid it off to De Bruyne in the half space, and Haaland one-on-one in the air with Martinez. That's like, no, you laugh, but that's what I'm really scared of, is that there is isolating our centre backs with Haaland.
You must agree though. You got to remain compact. You can't go out there and worry about Walker or anything. You can do what you can. But if the ball does get played to him, which it probably will, because he'll probably be the only spare man to sort of outlet for them when it's so compact like that. I just think you have to expect this to happen and just hope that you're defending properly and for cutbacks or whatever ball is delivered. I don't think he's best at delivering great balls or things. It's going to be crowded in there. I just think, we just have to accept that's going to happen and just try our best to defend properly.
All right. Well, we've got a comment here about could McTominay shadow Rodri, and I've come up with a crazy little theory. Okay, I don't take this too seriously, but we live in hope, and it's the Martial dream. Martial is fit. This will be his last game for Manchester United. And last season, when we beat City at Old Trafford, everyone used to talk about how Fred did such an incredible job on De Bruyne, even though De Bruyne assisted in that game by completely beating up Fred. But the key part of that game for me was Martial sitting on Rodri and stopping Rodri being able to access the midfield. We've also seen in previous seasons against players like Trent Alexander-Arnold and against Kyle Walker that Ollie used to play Martial on the left wing. Is there any chance at all, Dora, that we could see Martial just turn up? I can see where this is going. Talk to me.
I don't believe it. I mean, he hasn't played for a whole season. Maybe he puts him, as an ace from the bench if we are chasing a result or whatever. I truly don't believe that he is going to start tomorrow. I don't even know what the day today is, on Saturday. Honestly, I'm skeptical, but
it's too far-fetched.
It's too far-fetched, but I like your enthusiasm. I think that Vitra, like he had some great games for us against City, Martial. So why not? Why not? I would love for him to feature one last time on Wembley. Maybe scoring a bit, assisting, making a mess out of that, City defense. But I'm curious, for your realistic answer, who do you put on him? Maybe McTominay, maybe Bruno. Who is going to stop that combination of Walker and Rodri? Because I agree with Omondi, you cannot always play with risk against City because they're going to exploit it. If you, for example, if they are having a ball at their feet, if someone, for example, like Casemiro, who is who was cosplaying a Superman or a raging bull for the last few months, from the center back, last few weeks from a center back position, you cannot afford running out and breaking disrupting the whole defensive block. So I'm interested to hear what your opinion, how to solve that problem. I would say Rodri Walker problem.
Next slide. It's the next slide, but you're so good, Dora, because you pointed out exactly what I wanted to talk about next, which is your compatriot Gvardiol. But Amonde, I don't think anyone would argue with the analysis that I've given here, because I'll ban them if they do. But is this too far-fetched, or a desperate Ten Hag, maybe one last roll of the dice?
No, you can't make stupid decisions like that or overthink things. I think Ten Hag's going to go with what we've seen in recent weeks. I can't see Martial coming in. But the formula to stopping City, you have to stop Rodri in a way from just bringing the ball out and playing simple passes to sort of into dangerous areas. And it is simple passing. He doesn't spray it that greatly. He's just very efficient with what he does. And if you do get a guy to sit on him, I think it's got to be one of the forward guys.
Yes.
Got to drop off a little bit. And if we are playing sort of a false nine like we have done in recent weeks, then I'm looking at Bruno maybe, or someone like, maybe Bruno could come and snip in and around him, getting in and around him and sort of disrupt him a little bit. I think should be the game plan. But don't focus too. Obviously, we've got to have a game plan to stop them from playing. But only one thing, there's two players, De Bruyne and this young man, Rodri. I think those are the two danger guys who make them click. The other
dangerous all over the pitch.
I agree, but if I was manager, I would be saying, look, De Bruyne, you have to stop him. You have to stop this because seriously, he's really that good. I just think he's quite basic. He's not like, he doesn't do step overs. He doesn't, do proper scores, but he's very effective. He can drive. He's got determination. You can shoot left foot, right foot. His deliveries. Look at the amount of assists he gets. This is why you have to sort of get in and around him. And the same applies to Rodri. I think Bruno comes and sits around Rodri, tries to sort of disrupt him, and then whoever is in and around the midfield can try and get close. I think you've got to play like Mourinho did. Don't go man to man. When someone comes in your area or zone, that's when you pick them up. Otherwise, you're going to get moved around as players and a team. I just think it's got to be, this is my zone. As soon as someone comes into it, I'm going to deal with it, rather than chasing someone, because they would mug you off and take you out of your position, and then suddenly you're screwed. Screwed the words. I shouldn't say that, but suddenly you're messed up. So those are two players I'd focus on. But I'm interested to know what you think as well, Bath.
Well, I agree with you so much on what you've said there, because I often talk about my frustration with Rashford and compare him to Bale and Ronaldo, who basically just became sort of like mid-maxers, where they were just kind of there for goals and things. And this is what De Bruyne has been changed into, where he doesn't get on the ball so much anymore. They just put him in the areas for his delivery or his long shots or that final ball. And you've seen him strip his game down to the things that are most effective. And when you look at sort of De Bruyne and Foden and players like that, it all comes from Rodri and his ability to find space in between the lines, look after the ball. And you say that they're simple passes, but the weight he sticks on them and things like, it might look like a 5 or 10 yard pass, but there'll be no one like in chat that could play that ball as well over 5 yards. It might sound silly, but
you haven't seen Ed Mayhem play?
No, I haven't. But I have seen his comments, which I'm just going to get to before we talk about how to tactically approach this game. Simon is saying that Martial will probably trip up just warming up and he's off the match. God, I've now got a horrible image of an injury in the warm up for a United player. That would just be perfect, wouldn't it? Hydro wants an old school 4-4-2. Rasmus and Martial up front. Let him have his last dance. We got 22 likes. Thank you so much. Tony might get a goal. I still think that Tony Martial is the best finisher we have at the football club.
Agreed.
United need options. Bill is saying we're in talks with McKenna. This is true. But as I said, we're going to discuss all this tomorrow night. Tonight's about the cup final. Tyrone says that McTominay has stamped his authority on the game from the very beginning. I'd love to see him. Who was it against Arsenal when McTominay just picked them up and threw them on the floor? Like, I'd love to see more of that.
Odegaard.
Yeah, I think so. Just picked him up, body slammed him.
Like it was his child or something, you know.
Yeah, he did it. He did that to Neymar as well. Actually, there's just some players that he gets physical with.
Yeah.
Martial on the left wing, go for it. Can see him assisting Højlund's left foot. The other thing that you get from Martial is he will pass the ball.
Yeah, agreed on that.
If Martial plays and scores, would be so ironic. His last game and he turns on the style, putting Rashford to shame. Just imagine if he does to Ruben Diaz what he did to, was it Skirtle against Liverpool?
Oh, that's a long time ago.
Yeah,
2015.
Oh wow!
Was it? Yeah, I think so.
And this is a really good point from Steph. Is limited chances. We will have a chance against Manchester City. 100%, we're going to get a chance, and we have to take it. This is where you become like the big boys. And we got 28 people watching. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Thank
24 likes. And Big G's just booing that. Not a fan. He wants less people. I don't believe
this man. I can't believe
in at the back post.
Too generous.
Doesn't even say hello. Just comes in, splashing the cash, just throwing it all over us like we're all strippers. It's Rashmani. Thank you so much, Rashmani. It's always like, don't feel that you have to come in and give memberships and things. It's so appreciated. But we just love seeing you. Like, so just say hello, give us your thoughts and stuff like that. It's fantastic. And if you do, give these very kind donations, Amonde will jiggle for you.
It reminds me of, remember that Harry Enfield character? Loads of money.
Yeah.
Loads. Harry Rashmani comes in, loads of money. Have some of that.
All right. Well, let's give him some content. All right. So a high or a low block. Right. So this is what we're talking about essentially, is how we're going to try and set up against City. So against the top teams, Ten Hag has always tried to play high blocks. He did it in the final last year with Eriksen and Sancho. He's done it against Bayern, against City this year, against Arsenal. And the reason he does it is because he doesn't want the ball getting in easy to that City midfield. Because when Rodri's on the ball, Foden, De Bruyne, maybe an Alvarez can find those little half spaces in the pockets. And when you play a high block against City, they have a very standard move of their two pivot players running out wide and Haaland dropping in deep to try and pick the ball up, similar to what we do with Erasmus. And Haaland, as we all know, is a Vanarama player when he's not in the box. So lots of teams try and stop City accessing their midfield. And in recent weeks, what we have seen is we've seen Gvardiol in the wide areas on the left-hand side, profiting to ridiculous degrees. I think he might have something like 6 goals and 11 assists this season.
Wow.
And he was pretty poor for the start of the season. So not only do we have to deal with Walker as the main entry to the penalty box, they've got a real goal-scoring threat on the left-hand side as well, which we're going to need someone to cover that. So, with all this in mind, I'll start with you, Dora. What are you thinking?
First of all, I'm shocked. You said 6 goals and 11 assists.
So it's something like that.
Impressive.
Oh my God.
Can someone check that for me? Where's Bart?
I am. When he signed for City, I was crying that day. I was imagining him in that United shirt. I think Ten Hag, when he came in, we were roommate for him before we got Martinez. We were, connected with him, and I'm so mad. He is, he obviously developed a lot during the season. The beginning of the season was tough for him because he would get caught. He would misplace a pass, and throughout the season, Ake was kind of taking over his place. But in the last few months, he had an injury as well. Oh my God, you're such a liar, Bethan.
I'm sure it's well. I'm going to check it now.
Okay, please, because oh my God. But again, I mean, I think 4 goals and 1 assist. I think it came from from the last 2 months because he scored in the Champions League against Real Madrid. I think he scored at Bernabeu that great goal with his right foot, which is his all foot. Yeah, he's physical. He's fast. He's quite intelligent for a young player. And yeah, he's a great talent. We in Croatia love him. We hope that he's going to be great for the Euros. He was already a great player for us at the last World Cup. One of the best players in the national team with Livakovic. But I hope that he has a stinker tomorrow. I cannot handle, a Croatian, player burying us on that left side. I hope that whoever is on that right wing, is it going to be Anthony? Is it going to be Amad Diallo? Or is it going to be Garnacho and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's been, gassed up after 50 minutes? Hopefully they will try to, physically, manhandle him because, it will be hard to stop him.
It's got to be Deleuze, surely.
Surely. I don't know, but who are we going to put on the left? But we'll discuss it, yeah. They will discuss it.
All right, just before we get to you, Monday, I want to do the comments because I've obviously made a boo-boo. And the first one that stands out is Bilal wants a lap dance. Nothing in life isn't negotiable, Bilal. Like, how the bloody hell did Bill will get one? Nepotism at its finest. Yeah, Nepo baby Bill. Martial and Varane give their best performance in the last game as actors do before they retire. We've got 25 likes, 28 people watching. Blimey. 11 assists for centre-back. Yeah, but that might not be completely correct. Rush saying, I'm embarrassed by my club tonight. So unprofessional in the way they're dealing with things before a big game. Disgraceful. I actually agree 100% with this, Rush Manu. And in life, you can there are only so many things that you can control. So tonight, I'm deliberately not talking about any of these things and concentrating on the FA Cup final because I don't want to sit here and talk about Kieran McKenna and Louis van Gaal and all this nonsense. I want to talk about how we're going to stop City and how I'm going to get drunk for 3 days solid after we win. That's what I'm about. Right, so Darius 4 goals, 1 assist. This sounds a bit right. 38 games, 5 goals, 2 assists in all competitions. I mean, yeah, all right. I might have got that as bad as my transfer budget calculation. I know, but look, the point is that Gvardiol is a match winner from left back, and I mean, he got a double recently. He's been absolutely incredible in the running. And on Monday, you were talking about the need to be compact and narrow. If we are compact and narrow, we're going to allow Walker and or Gvardiol space out on the flanks. And this could also be De Bruyne that we allow the space out to if we play compact and narrow. How would you set us up? What is the key to beating City here?
Yeah, I mean, you're saying here about high block and way to stop getting the ball into midfield early. That's going to take a lot of energy. And on a big Wembley pitch, we're going to get drained, especially if we don't have a lot of possession. One thing, we've got to go out there and get possession, be aggressive like we were against Liverpool. That's the best performance I've seen, as we discussed yesterday. That won our vote for best match. We need to have that sort of energy for starters. Get in amongst them and stop them from playing. Work to the game plan, trust the manager, have some respect for the manager, work to the game plan, do sort of get at them on their first phase of play, stop them from playing out into the midfield if you can. If it gets too much, then ease up and go back. Yeah, I think we should be compact. I think with the Garvio, whatever you call him. Yeah, he's had an impact in recent weeks. He's had an impact, but I think at top level professional football, once someone's seen, oh, okay, this guy's got something about him. He's a bit of a threat. People do their data analysis and they learn how to shut him down. And I think that will happen. So we won't be seeing. He's going to have this little spell. I won't think he's going to be prolific like that going forward. I just think people realize he's a threat now. I've seen him have a really good shot from outside the box and a few sort of good goals. He scored a brace, didn't he, in one game recently? Yeah. So really impressive. But I think teams, we will be talking about him behind, with our meetings and sort of finding a game plan to sort of stop him from playing. But my thing is this: give up the wide areas if it's Walker, which we discussed a minute ago. Give up the wide area for Garvio. But if they double up and someone goes out wide with him to double up, say Kevin De Bruyne or Phil Foden, that's when it's showtime. That's when you're thinking, all right, this means something, because these guys can provide balls, provide assists as well. So it's about concentration. All I want to see, I'm sure like everyone here, we're 7-1 to win the game. Don't lose the game in the first half, guys. If we score first, then it's showtime. We can have a good game. If they score first and we're trying to sort of force things, we're going to go out of our game plan. The main thing is, for me, we have to judge this game really mindfully and say, let's get to half-time without conceding. That's the first goal. And that's why you should be compact.
Or to the second minute.
Yeah, I know. This is what happened last year, isn't it? They scored in seconds after all the work we did behind the scenes.
Unbelievable.
But this time around, I think I've got a funny feeling we're gonna put it on them. We're gonna try a bit harder. Eriksen won't be playing. It's going to be Casemiro. It's going to be McTominay. It's going to be Mainu in midfield. All these guys are on it. A bit more physical as well, and it can get in and around them. Bruno's up for it. He's just got his award for Player of the Year. Dallow's on fire at the moment. The defense is looking promising because we've got two guys coming back, Martinez and Varane, and obviously Luke Shaw could feature as well. The main thing is compactness. Don't allow them to break through us. And then, as you know, with all football matches, you get spells in the game where you can do something. And that's when we've really got to have an impact, Focused. We know Man City, we've played them so many times over the last few years. We know they're going to have a lot of the ball. We know they're going to have a lot of possession. But we have to be clinical when we do get an opportunity. Which we will. Just make sure. My priority, half time, yes, we're going to have to give up the wide areas. Yes, we're going to have to be compact. But we will get opportunities. Just stick with it, guys, and make sure we focus.
I think what I would add to that is that we've really, really got to be secure in our pressing structure. I think everyone will have noticed that the right-hand side, whether it's Anthony, whether it's Ahmad, there's always a problem there. And with Ortega, I'm assuming he's going to play the same way as Ederson. They're going to drop us in one side and knock it out to the other fullback to get out of the press. But for me, what separates decent teams from top teams in the Premier League is out of possession transitions. I don't know if you remember, but my great friend and yours, Ralph Ragnick, with his normal bullshit, came in and said, there are 4 stages in a football match: with the ball, without the ball, and the transitions between attack and defence. Obviously, we all know that this is bollocks, because in your out of possession structure, it's about how efficiently you can go from the high press or a high block into a mid block. And this is one of the problems that Manchester United have found against the top level, is that we've been good at a mid block against Liverpool. We've been good at a high block against Bayern Munich. But the transition between those two, so when the first line of pressure gets done, is where we are clearly not a top team. And if we can get that right, where we can press high and then fall into a mid block, which is pretty good, we've got a hell of a chance. And I think that I'm hoping that is what Ten Hag is really focusing on, is the transitions to not out of possession plays. But enough of
that's very good. Makes a lot of sense.
So you agree with me, Ragnick? Absolute fraud.
No, not that bit. Not that bit. No, I disagree.
Yeah,
he's very similar. Let's not get on Ragnick anyway, but that's for another day. But you got a grudge against him for some reason.
Yes, I do.
And we know what that reason is, but we're not going to go there.
Yeah.
Also, I agree with the other points, though, what you made.
Another person I've got a grudge against, Dan Ashworth, is getting our club in trouble. It is the level of incompetence that he's demonstrated.
But we're focusing on the FA Cup final.
Yeah. All right. So Simon is saying that he hopes the ref and VAR are on our side and it doesn't go to pens. I'd bite your leg off if it went to pens right now.
Yeah.
I'd take that. I'd definitely take that. Andrew says, any chance of a Mr. B 30-second appearance if we win? Mr. B will come back when he's good and ready, and he doesn't need any pressure put on his recovery. Mo is saying we just have to get past 13 seconds without conceding a goal, and that'll be an improvement from last year. Is it worth a 4-2-2 formation? They won't expect that.
Ralph
Too
Ranić.
much space. Too much space in between the lines, Steph, for a team like City. Like the thing is that a lot of what happens in our games is Ten Hag actually sets us up all right, and we surprise teams for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then they change and absolutely kill us. It's happened all season. So maybe we'll see that. Bilal says he doesn't want to concede too early nor score, and I'm kind of with him on that. Like, I don't want to anger City. I want them to sort of lull themselves to sleep and we explode on them. And Big G is saying that everything can go through Bruno. That's so predictable. And then the Stephanie follows it up saying Ollie had Pep's number unbelievably. And one of the reasons he did it is that he didn't use Bruno very much in the games against City. Like Bruno would sort of wander around and he wouldn't get on the ball very much, and it would upset Pep. It was like Ollie is really underrated as a manager. And have we got anything else here? Look, it's Double A. He's put in his lineup. He's front running. This is a great point, actually. Substitutions need to be made correctly as well.
Yeah.
All right. Now, should we do a bumper show tonight, boys and girls? Are you able to carry on for a bit longer, Dora?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Talk to me about this.
Oh. This is a tough one. I get Rashford hasn't played in the last few games. He has been in a poor form whole season. He threw massive stinkers, during games. But we are also saying that he is Kyle Walker's weakness because he is one of the rare players that can, actually put him on his bum. On the other hand, you have Rasmus, who scored in the last 2 games. He feels rested. Ten Hag rested him a bit. But on the other hand, you have problems with him. When he is trying to play as a number 9, him through the middle doesn't work. He's getting manhandled by the center backs all the time, and his movement when he's in the middle of that attack isn't very good. Combine it with Garnacho and Rashford in that attack, they just don't gel that well, in my opinion. But when you have Højlund on the right, a bit on the right, not necessarily right wing, but a bit on the right when he has a bit of a space, and I think he will technically get a bit of a space against City because they are playing high line. They're playing, they're not playing with 11 players behind the ball, parking in a bus. I think if he, uses that knowledge that he gathered from the last 2 games and goes to his right, and takes that space and attacks the goal from that space, I think he will be good. I think I will for this game. Oh my God, this is so hard. Oh. We have Garnacho on the left against Walker. Is that going to be good?
Gvardiol.
Oh my God! I think I will put Højlund on the bench. However, if and I will probably play Rashford just because of his experience and I'm telling this with very heavy heart. In all honesty, I would rather put him on the bench. But there is a possibility of him, being motivated after the whole shit show with the English squad and all that. And I think if it doesn't work, right, in the first 45 minutes, he can easily sub in Højlund, fresh Højlund, who is going to bite from the minute 1 when he comes in. And that will be, I think that will be a great, I would say, ace from the bench. So I would probably...
The end of Rashford. if you bring him off at half time in an FA Cup final, Jesus.
I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Football is a really tough game. I mean, you would guys know it. You were, in that industry. I would say there is always someone else who is
I
going.
wasn't on the bench. Thank you very much.
Of course, but if you faulted, if you sulked, if you didn't work hard, if you let your outside problems affect your game for the worse, you will probably be substitute, right? Because it wouldn't reflect on your game that well. So it is what it is. I think he needs to showcase his maturity and his talent on Saturday, and I will be watching that. I will carefully
Yeah.
watch that.
So you're benching Hoyland, playing
Yeah.
Rashford.
Yeah.
All right, Monday. I want to do the comments first, but just a question for you: have you ever been substituted in the cup final?
No, but I've come on in the cup final.
Okay, make a difference.
Yeah, I did. We scored. I was involved in winning goal. Yeah.
Congratulations, very nice.
Mm.
Did you celebrate in front of the manager? Like that's why you should have started me.
Yeah, he was wrong. And I'm talking about this. Sorry, I'll come back to this after the comments. But yeah, there's some good comments, and I think Andrew wants to ask a question.
All right, so we're going to go through this as quickly as we can. Rashford bench, Bilal bench, Rashi, Montreal, Hoyland plays, Rashford benched. Double A, Hoyland bagged the first goal. He's doing a score prediction. DJ Wilson wants both of them on the pitch. Tyrone wants to bench Rashford. I like this one. If Rashford starts and scores, substitute him immediately.
Good one.
Simon say Hoyland will play. And this is a good one from Big G. Depends what Rashford's mindset is after not getting picked for England. I think Rashford is going to be at the races if he starts. He's got so much to prove. Have you noticed that Hoyland is beginning to show a similar approach when he's scoring goals? The goals against Newcastle and Brighton were him forcing the defenders back. Exactly, Montreal. They were not him playing in the number 9 position. They were him playing in the number 10 position in the pocket, coming on to people, and he looked bloody good, like in those situations. Hydro is saying that Rashford on the bench to come on and change it. I want to ask the question of panel: is this allowed? Is what allowed?
We answer questions all the time.
If Real Madrid finished 8th in the league with a minus goal difference, would they have sacked their manager? I want a percentage from each panel member. I would say 99%.
100%. I mean, they almost sacked Ancelotti when Xavi won, when Barcelona won that league. They won a Copa del Rey. He was almost sacked, and they didn't win that. Ancelotti, I think, last season won one trophy, and that was Copa del Rey. He almost got sacked. So 100%, he would get sacked in December.
And Andrew has a follow-up saying, so why are our standards much lower? We'll do that. Can we do this tomorrow night, Andrew? Because there is a discourse around this, and it does look like we're doing manager changes. But I really just want to talk about the FA Cup final this evening. It's kind of everyone's show. So if you want to pivot on to this kind of thing, we'll do that tomorrow, if that's all right. Are you around tomorrow, Monday?
Probably not, but yeah, I will be. Finish at 8 is the thing, so it's going to be difficult. But, yeah,
okay. Fair point, but it is, Andrew. I agree with you. All right, a Monday. What have you got to say?
Look, there's 2 good players there. I think Rashford can be effective. Whether you bring him off from the bench, he'll be angry, and it will give a new dimension that we don't have. He's the only player who's got that rapid pace in our forward line, and that's a threat. That is a threat. And I think if you got to know how to push his buttons to get the best out of him. At the moment, he's being kicked out of the England squad. There's no chance for him there. He's got a way to say, shove it up yours to the England manager and to all the doubters. Imagine him scoring. What's the celebration going to be? He's going to run to the camera and go like that. You see? You should have picked me, But Rashford's good. I would keep Rashford on the bench for now. Keep him hungry. Tell him to warm up now and then. And that's an option you have. You need to have something. There's a great comment earlier about having the right substitutions. And I think you need to have something coming off the bench, whereas Pep's going to be like, let's get the notebook out and see how we can deal with this. It's got to be have some impact. I think Rashford coming off the bench will definitely have impact. rather than start him. I would put him on the bench. I would start Haaland. Haaland's on a bit of a run at the moment, scoring goals.
Oh, you start Haaland?
Yeah, I would start Haaland, of course.
So no false nine.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let's talk. Okay. Yeah. Now we haven't got to the solo 11 yet. So, but I'm talking about psychologically. I would keep Rashford off the bench, and like a caged tiger, he'd be raring to go, and he'd be sort of sitting. You'll be getting close-ups of him on the bench, mumbling and being really upset, and then he can come on and make a difference. This stage is set, isn't it? But I do think if you don't put them all on the pitch, it's a long game. There's different phases of the game, and we need to sort of make the right changes at the right time. And bringing someone like Rashford off the bench would be ideal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lovely image of Martial, Højlund, Rashford coming on 65th minute, the game at 0-0. That would be so awesome.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, all right. Now we've got the same question again. The pudding or the pony?
Ooh.
One can't run, one can't pass, one can launch transitions, one can stop a transition. I think that there's only room for one of these players, Dora, to start. What are you thinking? Can they both play?
If I see Casemiro in the center back position one more time, I'm going to gouge my eyes out on the stream right now. Like I will, I will just, tune in, during the wedding, after the FA Cup game, and I will do that live stream. It's so hard. Casemiro is like an alien to all of these players that we have in the squad. He is one of the best DMs that we saw in the last 20 years. The accolades, the trophies, he saw it all. He's a leader. I will never question his drive or motivation or whatever. However, it's obvious that when he is in the center back position, he's either too slow or he's just,
This is more
like
for midfield, Dora. Like we think the centre back.
Okay, cool. In the defense, he's too slow. In the midfield, he's too slow, and he's, I think he is just not. He's not prone to, be disciplined. He's not disciplined, and I don't think he is able to cover that much ground, especially when Ten Hag wants us to play, as we saw a lot this season, with two number 8s that are up the pitch, trying to press, and he's all alone on the island. He cannot cover it. Sure. That's a huge problem, and I think Ten Hag needs to do something to suit him or, fix it overall, right? You discussed it earlier. He can pass. He is great in the set pieces. He has a great header in him, but he cannot cover the ground. On the other hand, you have Shetland Pony, who is, he has a magnificent run. He has great position, not great. He has he has good positioning. But whenever I see him on the ball, I am, immediately scared. I'm scared, immediately. And the more I think about it, you know what? I will bite the bullet, and I will say, another great point is that Mainu looks better with Amrabat next to him. I will, at the end of the day, I think I will start Casemiro. Casemiro. And I know this is probably controversial after everything I said, but the more I think about it, I think that I can count on Casemiro doing less mistakes throughout the game, after, many weeks of having mistakes, than counting on Amrabat actually, not being caught out in front of Onana, every time, he is with, how do you say it? When he's, trying to get the ball from the goalkeeper or whoever, when he's under pressure, he's not persistent. Like, he's absolutely awful. Casemiro is not better, but at least he can pass. This guy doesn't pass. That's my issue. I think he's very panicky whenever he has the ball. And I think in this kind of game where we are, in the finals, we are playing the FA Cup final, I would count on Casemiro and his mentality more than on Amrabat. So that's my kind of, opinion. I don't, currently I'm not really a fan of any of them, but experience, mentality, I would pick Casemiro for this one.
I think that's a good argument, Dora. We'll see what the chat are saying. Bilal, Sofran. And Simon is off. He's had a great stream, his best one by miles. You're always so positive, Simon. It's such a delight to have you in our house. Tyrone says it has to be Sofran. Casemiro makes too many mistakes. Steph is just saying, do you think that Casemiro looks a bit like Poch's stunt double? I kind of see it, to be honest. Montreal is saying Amrabat's physical duties matter above all now. James is just saying pudding. Chatsport wants to play Amrabat. Which players are they most likely to pick up? Foden has pace. It's got to be Amrabat. We don't need a fat, slow coach. Amrabat's job with the ball should be just to yeet it. Steph wants the pudding and the pony in front of Varane and Leacher, with Bruno Mino in front of them and Højlund and Garnacho up front. You forgot his first few months last season. Okay, Amonde. The pudding or the pony?
Very simple. I'd play Casemiro. I just think Amrabat's had a couple of good games recently. People are saying, you can get the best out of Mainu playing Amrabat. You made a good, if you on the thing there, you said about one can pass, one can't, one starts transitions, one stops transitions. And we know who's who. Amrabat, good player, but I think experience, as Dora said, comes into it. I would give, if I'm looking around, who can I trust? I'm looking at Casemiro. I know what he's capable of doing. Like you said, he can get up and score goals. Maybe he has a good effect on the changing room with the players. I know he's had a bad season. I know he's made stupid mistakes. But it's a cup final. It's a one-off game. And just like the other slide that you have with Rasmus and Rashford, I think there's options there. We've got 5 subs to take. So I would start with Casemiro, and then there's an option to, when he gets tired or you feel he's going to get a yellow card or something, then you can bring on Amrabat and shore things up a little bit, because they've both got different kind of attributes.
I kind of agree, actually. I think that, like, in a game where you're not going to get a lot of the ball, Casemiro is probably a better player because he's more likely to win duels. He offers you something in both boxes, and he has a very nice pass selection, even if it's essentially just booting it down a channel. You won't see Amrabat doing that. I think Dora is also correct that Amrabat can't receive at any angle under pressure because he's so right-footed. And I think Amrabat works better in games where we have more of the ball because he can cover the larger spaces. Whereas I think that Casemiro is going to be more useful with his experience, his ability to score goals, and like we've seen him producing beautiful balls, like one to Ronaldo at Everton. I think that he'll be able to launch. He'll be able to launch transition, but like Amrabat will never be able to do that. The most important part of a transition is the quality of the ball forward. It's not about pace; it's about the quality of that ball forward. And Casemiro gives you that. I do accept that that Mainu has looked better with Amrabat, but I also think the system's been changed in recent games. And I think all in all, I would pick Casemiro over Amrabat. But that is just me. And now we come to it. You've got a friend who's popped in on Monday called the Silver One.
Yes, Tony Silver Fox. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Obviously, Tony Silver Fox is with the Armory TV, one of our sister channels, Arsenal's football channel. Good to see you, Tony. Love to you and your family, man. And he wants Man United to win because he's upset. He's an Arsenal fan. He's upset with City because he thinks this fair play, football fair play thing and the breaches. He's disappointed. He thinks Arsenal could have won the title twice in the last 2 years, and they've ended up with nothing because of this team that we have to go and beat on Saturday to sort of shut them down. Someone needs to stop them.
Well, I don't know if that's us, but we'll see. All right, everyone, it is that time you've been waiting for. Can I have a drum roll, please? It's the Solo 11. And what madness has Solo got for us today? Well, he's got a 4-3-3 with Onana in goal, Dalot at right back, Varane, Martinez as the centre backs, Aaron Wan-Bissaka at left back. He's gone for Amrabat, Mainu, McTominay as the midfield three, Bruno as a false nine, Garnacho and Ahmad as the width. First of all, Dora, do you think that this is likely?
I think Amrabat is not going to play. I think Ten Hag is going to pick Casemiro. I believe that this will be a starting centre back pairing. I believe that Ten Hag, will use his best centre backs who are currently, fit. Martinez played, Varane played in the last few games. They are available. They will play. I agree. After discussion that we had regards to Guardiola and Walker and us being exposed on the wings, I think that Dalot, the right back, is going to help us more because he will probably be the one to deal with Joško Guardiola. On the other side, you have Wan-Bissaka. Hopefully, he's not going to get rinsed by that, by their right wing and right back in Kyle Walker, and probably maybe is it going to be Bernardo Silva or maybe Phil Foden? I'm not sure, but it will be interesting. I think Casemiro is going to start as a DM. I agree that McTominay and Mainu are also there, and I believe that Højlund is going to get dropped. I don't believe that Amad Diallo is going to start on that right side. We will probably see Garnacho on the right and Rashford on the left. But I think this is, I think this makes sense, especially with the performances some of these players displayed in the last few weeks. Amrabat, showcased that he came a bit in form. Someone like Amad Diallo, who has been in form as well. Arguably our best winger when it comes to form. Right, he's the only winger in form for us currently. And Bruno as a false nine. He started playing quite well in the last month or so. So I think this is a solid starting lineup. But I would tinker a bit.
Okay. Well, Andrew is obviously incredibly bored of listening to us. So he's given us all a multiple quiz. Which of the following things did Andrew do on the drive home from work today? Did he get caught speeding? Did he drive into the back of ex-Swansea striker Wilfred Boney? Did he wet himself? Or did he butt dial his mother and she heard him singing terribly all the way home? Amonde, what are you thinking?
I remember Wilfred Boney. I think maybe it's that one because it's the most outrageous one that you wouldn't expect. I reckon he drove into the back of Boney and definitely didn't want to have a fisticuff with him. He's a bit of a unit. So I could go with the Boney one. He also played for Man City as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Going back to the solo 11.
Tell us at the end, Andrew. End of the show, please.
With the solo 11, I think if Luke Shaw comes back in, I would drop him for Wan-Bissaka. Can't see those two centre-backs starting. I think Johnny Evans is fit with Varane. Or maybe, actually, Varane or Martinez with Johnny Evans. I think Johnny Evans will start. You can't just drop the guy after the season he's had, and he's picked up all the slack, with all these injuries going. He deserves to start. If you're looking around and you're picking the team sheet and he's not on the starting team sheet, I think that's unfair, and because he's really hasn't let us down. Casemiro for Amrabat, as we said before with the slide you had before last time, I would go with that. And then obviously you can make changes. It's not set in stone, that doesn't mean we can't change it. And we had Rashford with Rasmus. I think I agree. I don't think Ahmad will start. I think Rashford, if fit, and Garnacho with Bruno. So I quite like this setup. The key thing about it is having Bruno as a sort of false nine or whatever his second striker sort of position. He's got license to do a lot of stuff in the final third, and he's dangerous. He can do things. So I like that, and I think to get up, we need to build as a team, and I think we're more capable of doing that with false nine.
All right. I mean, my thoughts on this would be that I think Ten Hag will be desperate to have a left footer in his defence. So I think one of Shaw or Martinez will start. I don't think they'll both start, but I think one of them will start. And for the balance of the team, I think I would like it to be Shaw. Yeah, I think I'd like it to be Shaw. If Shaw plays, we might get Rashford back. I'm not sure, but this is this. I mean, I just don't see this team going out myself. I think that Delo will be at right back, whatever happens. I think Casemiro will start. I think Rashford will start. And those are the changes that I would make. I don't think Højlund will start. And I'd much prefer Højlund to be on the right rather than central, as I think that's the best use of him. But we'll see what the comments are saying. They're mainly talking about Andrew, which is exactly what he wants. He's such a slut for attention, Dora.
Yeah.
Varane and Leacher for Bilal. The graphics look good. Thank you very much. What about a back four of Delo, Casemiro, Varane and Leacher? No, thank you. I don't think anyone wants to see Casemiro there. Is it worth playing Martinez in midfield after we go 1-up to shut up shop? Martinez would be a dreadful midfielder, Steph. I know a lot of people like the sound of it, but he's so poor at covering ground with those short little legs. He has to really widen his stride. So imbalanced. I'm not in the sort of Martinez fan club as much as everyone else as a technical player. As a warrior, he's great. And Delo has been our most impressive player this season. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the solo 11. Now, score predictions, and we'll end the show as we're all getting quite tired, I feel. Dora, let's start with you. Score prediction.
Oh my God. Hopefully we will get, players on point, motivated. Ten Hag and Wilcox or whoever is constructing those formations and tactics, they're going to sit down and create a perfect FA Cup final formation strategy to stop these frauds. I'm hoping for quick Rashford goal in the first half. They are probably going to score because we are united. We concede. And finally, Højlund from the bench, or Amad Diallo, or Alejandro Garnacho, someone from the youth is going to score a banger in the last minute, and we will win 2-1, and it will be a replica of that semi-finals of FA Cup when Anthony Martial got us to the finals against Everton. Maybe it's him, maybe it will be him, and he will have the best farewell, a one player can have. And I am, throwing it into the universe because fuck those guys. I'm sorry for the language. I need to say it. I hate them with all my heart and soul.
Such a
irrelevant. They are irrelevant if not for the Saudi money. Oilers. I need United to win. I'm not. I will be shameless. I will celebrate this cup as we won a treble. I don't care. I want this trophy. And regardless of Ten Hag being sacked or whatever, I wish him this trophy. Not just for him, but for the players as well, so they can, build up for something next season. And finally, this club stop being, an embarrassment. I hope we finally get something. And this is my prediction: 2-1 United.
Well, unsurprisingly, you've incited the passion of several people in the chat, and I'm not putting their comments up, put silver ones up. Yes, Dora, tell them. I'm not sure. I don't know what you sound like. Sorry if that came across as rude. But before we get to Monday to finish the show, James, 2-0 United, 2-1 from Stephanie. Oh, everyone boo Big G.
Boo.
5-0. 1-1 on pens. 3-1 United. Save this. 1-1 United win 4-3 on pens.
Yes.
We win. Last minute sweat. United 3-2. Bloody hell. I hope so. Manchester United to win the game on penalties. Haaland missing the key penalty. Brilliant. Dora can see the future. Okay, and it is now time for what Andrew did. The answer to the question is C. He peed myself. Right, shut up, Andrew. 3-1 City. Amonde, take us home.
I'm inspired, by the way, by Dora. She's really passionate.
Not by Andrew.
No, definitely not. Especially, I mean, were you stuck in traffic or something? You carry a bottle with you or something. Don't do that.
Pulling into his drive, he pissed himself. I own my mistakes. Ethan is just saying that is the worst argument I've ever heard to sacking the manager, that you pissed yourself.
Enough.
Amazing.
And the fact that he's telling people about it as well, it makes it worse.
Yeah.
Some ammunition against you now. 3-2. Oh, I'm 3-0, Fred. I'm saying this, that we are underdogs, as you saw earlier in the show. Bath Time put up some odds, 7-1, Man United to win the game, and 5-1 for a draw. I'm going with a draw, 5-1. I think it's going to be 0-0. It's going to be a hot day, big old Wembley Stadium. I think Man City are just going to be going through the motions, thinking we just break them down eventually. We're going to be, secure, rigid, tough. We're going to have a bit of bite about us. 1-0 is the scoreline. We beat Everton, who were flying in 1985 under Howard Kendall. We beat them 1-0 with 10 men, survived, and Norm Whiteside scored a great goal. And that was a bit of an upset. And we were delighted by that, especially with 10 men. And then 3 years later, Wimbledon beat the mighty Liverpool 1-0. Laurie Cunningham. No, not Laurie. Laurie Cunningham was in the team, but Laurie Sanchez scored from a set piece to make it 1-0, and they held out. And I think it's going to be like that again. I think we're going to go to extra time, and one of our players is going to score a winning goal to make themselves a hero. It's going to be a special day, guys. Make sure you tune in. We can do it. I think after going through, the tactics today, I'm inspired. Bath Time, the way he explained everything about how we can set up and how we can stop them from playing, and the only threats are their fullbacks with Guardiola and Walker. I'm cool with that. Because I think we can stop all the other players. If I don't mind if those two are the ones who are going to get a lot of space. So I'm going for a 1-0 win, and that means we are cancelling them out, which is going to be really tough. But I think it's going to be a team performance. It's the last now. We just give everything, lads. Give everything you've got. Let's go out there, make the fans happy, and let's make Manchester great again.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming and joining in. No thanks to Andrew for talking about pissing himself. What is going on? But look, we're going to try and do a show tomorrow. It's very unlikely that there'll be a watch along. It's very unlikely that there'll be a post-match reaction. So for the post-match, just enjoy it with yourselves and your family and things like that. We'll probably be back on Sunday or Monday or something like that. But for now, have a bit of hope, because we've got an opportunity to turn a crap season into, I can give you 115 reasons why it'll be brilliant if we win. I can't wait. So I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank Amonde, and in particular, I want to thank Dora, who's really stepped up this week to help us out.
Thank you, Dora.
Unless anyone's got something to say, I'm going to end the show.
Good night. Come on, United.
Laku noć.